we've already agreed that he's going to church under all circumstances tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Regardless, because as it is, I live in my parents' house and I have to go to church. There is no, oh, I don't feel like it. Is, oh, I have to. There's no, oh, I went out last night and I'm tired. It's like, you live in this house, you will serve the Lord.
Amen.
So I was like, if I got to do it, you got to do it too. I don't care what kind of night you had before. If I got to. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
It's Sam.
And Crystal. If you've been here before, thank you. Welcome back. If it's your first time, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell. And thank you for viewing today's video. Let's get started.
All right. It's Storytime Sunday.
It sure is. A lot of you have inboxed us privately and requested the Sam's 22nd birthday story time. So we're going to tell it. We are going to tell that story. So disclaimer, be sure you're 21 or whatever the legal drinking age in your country is before you decide to consume alcohol.
Please.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So the video is going to be about Sam popping his cherry.
Excuse me.
Being drunk for the first time.
Okay.
It started out like any regular day for us, except that we knew that we were celebrating Sam becoming 22 on March 2nd, 2014. That's how long this story is from. So forgive us if some of the details were lost. We started out, we decided that we would be going out to Manhattan to celebrate. And in doing so, we went out, we said we would get lunch at Olive Garden, you know, because Sam had never been at this point. He'd never been to Olive Garden. He'd been to Manhattan because that's where we first reunited. And you know, we were just going to have an adventure, a little romantic day in New York.
New York City.
So, yeah. So we decided to go to Olive Garden. We got lunch late lunch about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. We started off, we had some, you know, unlimited salads and breadsticks. And, well, first of all, when we got to Olive Garden, we didn't have a reservation. Apparently in the Manhattan location, you need one because the wait time is super long. Yeah. We were going to be waiting for over an hour to get seated, so we decided to sit at the bar and eat. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So while sitting at the bar, we decided, okay, let's get some drinks. So we started off with the fruity stuff, the easy things, what's known as the ladies' drinks. Sam liked his ladies' drinks. He still likes them. He likes daiquiris. Yeah, that's exactly what you got. You got a daiquiri.
Strawberry daiquiri.
We got like 3 different daiquiris that at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, mind you. Had lunch. We had a good time, you know, took photos. You know, typical Manhattan thing. And then we decided, okay, let's walk around Manhattan. It had gotten dark by this time because it was March, so you know, daylight savings time and everything. Yeah. So we were walking around Manhattan and we see some street artists, and Sam's like, "Oh, how about we get our photos drawn?" You know, typical touristy stuff. So we do that. We get our photos drawn. It's cute, whatever. We decide to continue exploring Manhattan. And then we see that the movie that we wanted to see, I think it was Need for Speed. That was what we went to see. Or, yeah, or 300 and Prior. I think it's one of those two that we went to see.
Or festivities.
No, it wasn't. It was Need for Speed, I think. You could look back and see what movies came out like in February of 2014. But I think it was Need for Speed. And we decided, okay, we're going to go in. We're going to see like the 6-7 o'clock showing. Yeah. Movie was great. We got popcorn, we got slushies, and we spiked our slushie.
That's what I like.
We spiked our slushies. And yeah, we had like airplane liquor with us, so don't do that.
It's lit in movies when you have that, you know, just
don't do that. So, you know, we had spiked slushies and popcorn, you know, we were doing great at the time. Sam was doing great too. So the movie's done and we're walking and we see some money on the floor. So we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. We go to the customer service desk and we try to return it and they're like, well, nobody's reported anything. So
nice people, huh?
yeah, so they're like, you can do whatever you want with it. Nobody's reported anything missing. So we waited around for a little to see if anybody would come up and say, hey, we dropped money, you know, or whatever. And, you know, we waited for at least like 15 minutes. And when no one came, we're like, okay, this is a sign from God. It's a sign from God. So we head out into the streets of Manhattan, and I think we wanted to go into Ripley's, but I think there was like a line at the time.
There was.
Yeah.
A little cold, so.
And yeah, so we didn't want to wait. So we're like walking around Manhattan, and I'm like asking Sam still, I'm like, oh, do you want to do the 22 shots? Because I had just graduated from college, so I still had my college mentality, you know, shot for everything. Shot. Yeah, but, so Sam's like, okay, let's give it a try. So I see Applebee's and I'm like, okay, let's go up to Applebee's. Same issue as Olive Garden. There's a wait time. So much people in there. And at this point, I think it was like after 9 in the evening.
It was.
And there was like, that's like a busy time for
Prime
them.
time.
So we were like, okay, we go sit at the bar. Again, notice the pattern. We're always at the bar. So we go sit at the bar and we order regular drinks. Like we order sangrias. I think Sam got a peach sangria and I got like a regular berry sangria, which is really good. So we're sitting at the bar and, you know, I'm like, okay, you sure you're going to do this? You sure you're going to do this? And Sam's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So like, you're probably going to see some footage from it. We have some footage that I'll insert. All right, babe, happy birthday. You're going to take your first 2 shots for your 22, you know, double for 2. All right, let's go. Happy birthday, babe. Drink it up. Pour it up, pour it up. Watch it all fall out. Look at him being a crack addict. Some of it is not internet appropriate, so you'll only see some footage. But Sam says, yeah, he's going to do it. So we order up some shots and, you know, Sam starts to take his shots. They're coming. We're not taking them super fast because we're not trying to get our good lad here drunk. We're just trying to, you know, let him enjoy his birthday. So, at one point, Sam, if you've been around macho men and guys that are, you know, that are getting inebriated or intoxicated, a lot of them become very vocal and lovey-dovey and, you know, they love everybody.
So I was lovey-dovey you? Is that what you're saying?
He was lovey-dovey on everybody. There was like a guy next to you at the bar and you're like making friends with him. You ain't never met him before. You're like chatting him up. And then I was shooting like little snips because we wanted to remember the night. And Sam's like, oh, calling out his friends' names and shouting out people and big up to this person and that person and the third. And I love you, man.
You need to cut his pouring out.
He's like, and I'm just sitting there like recording and I start to think to myself, and I'm like, I think Sam is he's beginning to feel the effects of the alcohol. I was so close to the truth I didn't know it at the time. But I'm gonna find out, right? So Sam is finishing up his shots. We finish up and we're like, I'm looking at him and he's already got tiny eyes, like you guys can see. And his eyes are like getting smaller and smaller, and I'm just like, you're good? He's like, yeah, I'm good, man. Like, this is the best. Like, you know, like, I'm used to drinking my Guinness and whatever. Like, he was convincing me before that he was good because he's used to drinking so much Guinness and dry, and he's good. Like, I'm just like, all right, you got this. You got this, boo. So he's like, yeah, this is nothing. When he's done having all of the shots and everything, and we pay and we leave, he's like, yeah, man, I'm good. And at this point, we're trying to leave because if you live in New York and or you've ever even been to Far Rockaway, you know that at a certain point, the train starts to run local. So if you don't catch the train before it starts to run local, it takes you double the time that it normally would to get from Manhattan, 42nd Street, all the way to Beat 67 in Far Rockaway. So we were like, all right, we got to hustle. We got to get on the train. We missed it. We missed the last train that was going to be running express. So now we're standing on the platform and we're waiting, and I'm just looking at Sam, and his eyes are getting, you know, smaller and smaller. I'm like, oh, let's take photos, you know. Remember the night? We had such a good time. So we taking the photos in Sam's eyes. I'm like, open your eyes. He's like, oh, they're open. And this is how he's taking the photos. And I'm just like, open your eyes. He's like, no, they're open. I was like, okay. All right, cool. So the train pulls up. And if you know, like, late time in New York, like, the train, a lot of nefarious characters get on board. A lot of weird things happen. A lot of weird people selling things, puppet shows. It's New York. Like, a lot of strange things happen on the train, and you try to, like, avoid eye contact at a certain time because you're not trying to get into anything with anybody. People, like, will cuss you out. Like, you know, there's people that are mentally unwell, so, like, you got to be careful late night on the subway, especially on the A train. So we get on the train. We sit in the best seats, obviously. You know, there's the 3 and the 2. We sit in the 2, and I sit by the window, and Sam sits on the outside, and then some other people come and sit in the 3. So I'm, like, talking to Sam, and at one point I realized Sam's not responding to me, and I'm just like, I look over, and Sam is dead, knocked out, head on chest, asleep. Asleep. And we'd already talked about me not being, like, alone, like him keeping me company on the train because it's such a long ride. But, you know, I get over it. I forgive him. I'm like, all right, it's good for him to sleep off the alcohol or whatever, you know. He's tired. We've had a long day. I'm like, all right. I get into my phone, and I think I'm, like, playing Candy Crush or something, just because there's no internet service on the ground, so I can't talk to anyone. So and I can't get on Facebook because there was no internet. So I'm, like, playing Candy Crush, I think, or, like, scrolling through the photos or watching the video back. I feel like I was watching the videos at some point that we took that day. And I'm, like, sitting on the train, and I know that usually once I get off the train, I'll have to call a taxi if I don't want to walk, because I didn't live super close from the train to my house, and neither did Sam. So either way we went, we would have to call a taxi. So I'm just paying attention to know as soon as I get out of the tunnel so I can start calling, because the taxis are not reliable. You have to like call them sometimes over and over before somebody will answer, or if they'll even have a cab to send out for you. So
don't say it.
Don't say what. So we come out of the tunnel, and I start to call the car services, and no one's answering. Like, there's like 5 stops between getting out of the tunnel and to where I would be getting off the train. It's long stops, but, you know, it's only 5. So you have to do your best to, like, get the taxi way ahead so that you can be there in time. So I'm calling, getting frustrated. Nobody's answering. And then we get to Rockaway Boulevard. I'm calling, same thing. We get to JFK, and now I'm starting to try to wake Sam up, because in 2 more stops, we'll be getting off. And that means Sam has to get off, because if I don't get a cab, he has to walk me home, and then he has to get a cab from my home to his house. So I'm trying to wake Sam, and Sam is not cooperating. I'm like, okay, Sam, stand up. You gotta stand up. We're now beach channel, which means the signal is bad. I'm still trying to call the cab all this while, right? While I'm trying to wake Sam, I'm still trying to call the cab just to make sure that I get a cab. So I finally get Sam to wake up. Oh, I missed that part.
That's why I said don't say.
I missed that part.
But you can say it's fine.
Oh, at one point I look over and like when I'm about to wake Sam up and his head is down and he's just like drooling. Oh. That is evidence of a good night. Evidence of a good night. But either way, back to what I was saying. I got Sam up. He's standing. He's swaying. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you know? Okay. He's up. It's fine. I'm still calling. No cab. So when the time comes, we get off the train, and I give Sam. I had a bottle of water that I kept. And I give it to him. I'm like, wash your face so that you know, the cold air will wake you up a little bit more and you'll feel more alert. Because, you know, I didn't want us to be like a spectacle or an attention to people that might be watching. Because, you know, the streets aren't safe, period. It's nighttime. It's after midnight by now because the train has already taken well over an hour to get from Manhattan to Far Rockaway. So he washes his face, and I'm still calling all this time. Like every time the phone rings out and I hang up, I call right back for a cab. So he washes his face, and we start to make our way down. We're gonna walk it to my house. In my mind, it's like, even if I don't get a cab to my house, we need to get a cab for Sam to go home because he can't stay at my house. My parents are conservative and strict. There's no place for him to stay. There's no guy staying over at my house. Like, he's got to go home. I'm aware of this. Sunday is church, and I'm like, okay, he got to go home, so I have to make sure. So Sam's like, it's okay, babe. I'll just sleep downstairs in the chair.
I did say that.
And I'm just like, whose chair you gonna sleep downstairs in? At whose house? Like, what are you talking about, sir? There's no sleeping downstairs in the chair. Like, do you know my parents? Like, that's not going to happen.
I even said, I'll do them tomorrow, baby. It's okay.
Yeah, he's like, he's just like in the liquor. He's like, yeah, I'll just deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah, I was happy to be with
nonchalant.
You. Just have you around me. I was just super happy.
Yeah, and at this time, it's already his birthday. He doesn't even know it because he's just in and out of it. And so we're walking, and there's like a nursing home not very far from the train station when you come down the steps. So I'm talking to Sam, you know, while I'm trying to call the cab service, and Sam just like stops out of nowhere. Like he's walking next to me, and I keep walking. He just like stops out of nowhere, and I'm just like, I turn and I look over, and I'm like, Sam, what are you doing? What's wrong? And I get no response. So I'm like, Sam, and I like look up into his face actually properly and look at him. And this boy is asleep. He is asleep, standing up, dead, knocked out cold. Okay? In the cold, on the sidewalk. As we're walking home, he just stops and stands and knocks out KO completely. Like, somebody gave him sleeping pills, somebody just drugged him, like, whatever, like. My boy is asleep. Just standing there. And I
still can't believe it.
I was like, are you serious? And I don't want to be loud and yell or, you know, cause any attention because I don't want anybody to think that we're vulnerable to try to like attack us or anything. So I'm just like, is he serious right now? And on the inside, I'm like flabbergasted. I was like, but I was just like, Sam, and he like, I'm good. That's his words. I'm good. I'm like, no, you're not. Wash your face.
Drink some more water.
And he does, and I'm like, and he's like, okay, I'm good. So we're like making our way.
I I was.
You felt better after that?
Yes.
All right.
I felt conscious of where we were and like, oh no, we need to go.
Yeah. So we're like start walking, and at this point we still have like 5 blocks to go. So I'm calling. So we get to like the 3 more blocks to go. We're going slow because, you know, the alcohol slows you down. So we get 3 more blocks to go, and the people finally answer, and they're like, okay, I'm sending a cab. He's like 5 minutes away. And I say, all right, bet. Good. That's the best news I could have heard all night. Like, you have a cab and he's coming 5 minutes. I said, all right, good. So I'm like trying to get Sam to her, because remember, we're like 3 blocks from my house. So we need, and I gave the cab my house address to pick Sam up from. So we're like trying to hurry and get down. So now we're like 3 houses from my house, and I see the cab going past, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna get to the house before us. So I'm like flagging him down, but it turns out it was a guy that I'd used before many times, because those taxi services are pretty small. Like, so most times you end up using the same drivers over and over.
Yeah.
So he like stops, he pulls over, and I get Sam into the car, and I like explain to the guy, like, okay, he's going here. You know, here's the money. He might fall asleep. You can just wake him up when you get in. And the guy assures me that, yeah, he'll do that. This is before Lyft and Uber, so there wasn't a chance for us to just like call Lyft or Uber to get him a ride. So I get Sam in the car. The guy drives off. I walk into my house, and I look down, and I have Sam's phone in my hand.
What year was this?
2014.
What do you have for me?
Your phone.
Oh boy.
So now I'm like, oh my God. I can't contact him to make sure he gets home. We've already agreed that he's going to church under all circumstances tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Regardless, because as it is, I live in my parents' house and I have to go to church. There is no, oh, I don't feel like it. Is, oh, I have to. There's no, oh, I went out last night and I'm tired. It's like, you live in this house, you will serve the Lord.
Amen.
So I was like, if I gotta do it, you gotta do it too. I don't care what kind of night you had before. If I gotta do it, you dating me, you gotta do it too. And he's like, all right, cool, I'll do it. I'm gonna go to church too. So now I'm like, he doesn't have an alarm to wake him up. I can't call him in the morning. I can't reach him. I don't even know if he got home safe. Now I don't want to call I don't want to call his parents' house because I don't want to be rude at this time of the night. And I'm just like, oh.
You're so nice, baby. It could have been a great excuse though.
It could have been. So I'm like, all right, cool. I know the taxi guy. I trust that he'll get him home safe. I'm not worried about him getting home. I'm just thinking of the fact that this boy is going to be asleep and not coming to church tomorrow. But whatever. I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed now because I had a lot to drink too. I'm tired. I want to sleep because I know my daddy, given that I came in so late, he's going to be waking me up earlier than regular to tell me you got to get ready for church. But, excuse me. So I go to sleep and I don't worry about anything else. And I'm like, okay, I hope Sam's good. I hope he doesn't throw up. But in the morning I get up. As predicted, my dad comes. He bangs on the door. Time to get up. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get up. We get ready for church. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, okay, is this a good time to call? Because it's early in the morning. Like, I don't want to be rude and wake up his family. So I'm thinking, when can I call the house phone so that they can know to wake Sam up? So I'm like, all right. 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Now's a good time. So I'm like, on a Sunday, 8 o'clock is a respectable time. You should be up and ready for church anyway. So I call the house phone and his dad answers and he's like, oh, yeah, Sam came home. He's sleeping. He's okay. Yes, he's sleeping. So I was like, okay, but the reason I'm calling is that he told me he would be going to church today. So I ended up with his phone last night. So I wanted to make sure that he got up so that he can go to church. Can you wake him up for me, please? his dad was good. His dad went and woke him up, and he's like, yeah. I'm gonna get ready to go to church. So I'm like, wait. I hang up the phone, and I go to church with my family, and I'm like looking at the door every time somebody comes in. I'm looking to see when Sam's gonna come. He gets to church 2 hours late. It was your birthday. You should feel special. He gets to church 2 hours late, and I'm like, all right, at least you came. That's all good. You got to church. And then he tells me about once he got home in the cab. And I'm guessing you can imagine, like...
You want to cut there?
No, I'm guessing you can imagine what went down. Even his stepmom was telling me about how he came in the house and, you know, he missed the big old sink with all of, you know, his excrements that came out. But needless to say, Sam had a great time.
I sure did.
And I had an excellent time popping Sam's cherry. And taking his drunginity.
That sounds so weird.
We had a great time. We were young, you know, we were living a good life.
We still are.
We still are living a good life. But yeah, that's the end of the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yes.
Hope you found something to laugh about and smile about. Maybe some of you can relate to what happened with Sam. It's the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our little story time. Yeah. We have another video coming your way for Wisdom Wednesdays.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah, Wisdom Wednesdays.
Say one more time.
Wisdom Wednesdays.
That's sexy.
Yeah. I hope you guys tune in again. Tell a friend. Bring a friend. And I forgot to tell you to get your wine and popcorn, but you can watch it again. Get your wine and popcorn and enjoy. But thank you guys for watching.
Thank you. I hope when you guys see the video, you guys don't laugh me too much. Yeah.
But be sure to like,
subscribe,
and comment. Hit the notification bell.
Yeah. So
that you will know the next time we upload.
Oh, follow us on
Instagram at Culturally Gifted and on Facebook at Culturally Gifted.
Yeah. Culturally spelled with a K, not a
C. Bye. Your other two shots. Let's go. 22 for the 22 for the 22. Let me see you do it.
Nuts, not a fuss.
Some nuts. What it was. Hey man, you want to be a big man? They got the lemon on the glass for you.
Massive was 50 plus.
No, they got 2 lemons just for you. Huh? They got 2 pieces just for you.
You the big glass. Look at you, huh?
They're the same amount, babe. Look at this wuss drinking. His first shots ever. Take his virginity shots. Throw that back. Throw that back. Let me see you go for the next one. Don't put the skin in your mouth. They haven't washed that. Go for the next two. Go for the next two. Look, there's 2 more for him to drink. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, put it down. You can't even handle the nuts. You're a mess. Come on, put it down. He's messing up everywhere. Throw that back. That's shot number 5. Somebody's bossy. Oh, don't drop your lemon. Don't drop that. Dun, da, da.
Don't drop that. Dun, da, da. Oh,
Oh, you're already feeling the effects. Look at you. Look at your little shiny eye.